Hello. What's going on?
Another beautiful day
Hello.
in paradise.
Tim?
Hey Ross, how we doing? Hey team.
Hey.
Justin.
Doing pretty good. Just finally recovering from this bike crash. Nice. Hey, Harry. Hey, Ted.
What's going on? Hey guys.
Thanks for joining today. Got some exciting updates to share. And then we're gonna do a quick little overview of some of the updates that we pushed, and then we'll go into some FAQ or Q&A session. And then we'll just see if that brings us up to the time here. And then if we have some extra time, we'll go over some sales stuff as well. Some sales strategy stuff for agencies that's been working well for agencies. Cool. Tim, do you want to kick things off? We're going to keep the updates very brief today. The change log and all the release notes will be out later today, so you guys will be able to read all of this in detail. We're not going to, go word for word on this, but
Yeah.
all this will be available later today, and we'll post all this in the Discord as well.
Yeah. And this looks a little different than it'll look later on. It's not usually this verbose. But yeah, so the website scraping, the automatic website scraping, we've also called it 24-hour scrape. The beta for that is out. Now, of course, that is a beta, so we will need to be testing it extensively over the next few days and weeks. Also, the external payment system integration, as it's calling it here, this is an API endpoint that should, in theory, allow you to integrate us with any payment provider. We're going to be working on tutorials to show how to do this with Zapier and or your own code. So more coming on that. The Facebook Messenger integration, right now, you won't see it, the ability to connect it, like to actually click on it, but in the next hour or two, that will actually happen. Now, this is really so that we can get it approved through Facebook. They're actually going to have a person go in and actually use it. That's part of their whole approval process. So the point is, if you see that, that's why that's been exposed in the application, but don't expect it to work for you yet. Now, the good news is, though, we are making progress. And at the same time, we're doing this for WhatsApp as well. And then later on, Instagram will be a very, very similar process. And so it should be a lot easier, but we are making a lot of progress on that. And as you all know, that process is a bit of a nightmare, to be honest, to go through with Facebook. The copy support information button, this is a very small one, but it's something we're going to be asking you all to do whenever you have any support tickets you open that are related to a specific chatbot. You're going to see soon in a Get Help page where you do that, just a GIF that'll show you how to right click on the chatbot menu. And now there's an option to copy support info along with the ability to delete the bot, like has always been there. This is very minor, but when training the knowledge base, there's now an animation that shows the kind of the status of that. Once it's done, it's just some way to provide feedback to the user that something is going on. Also, multi-file uploads for the knowledge base, that is out and in beta. Let us know if you encounter any issues, but that should make it easier to upload multiple files at once and get them trained in the knowledge base. Finally, your own default login pages on your white label. We changed the background image to not be the default Stammer image that we use, but instead it'll be a black background with your logo kind of right in the middle. Now, of course, you can change that, but that's just the default one. Dashboard links now go to our new Git book knowledge base repository. It's that one-stop shop that I've talked about on videos where you to go there, and all our documentation is in one place now and very easy to search and access.
Docs.stammer.ai.
Exactly. Yeah. And our own chatbot that we'll be releasing soon is being trained on that. But enhancements to the My Chatbots page. This is also very minor, but we increased the size of that. The number of items on that is now 24. And you'll notice that it now has search enabled as well. We're also going to be adding some filters very soon so that you can easily filter by oldest, newest, alphabetical, and really, in theory, whatever else you want us to add. So let us know any feedback on this. But that is it. That is the main things we're releasing right now. We have a ton of other things in the works, including some other exciting updates, but this is the main thing we've gotten out in this release right now.
Yeah, and just to go work off that. So an example of how auto scraping works. So when you're in a agent, AI chatbot, and you want to scrape a URL, you would enter in the URL, and then there's now a new option called auto scrape. And so if you enable this and then we crawl the website, it's going to go and crawl the website and all the documentation like normal. and then you can train that data just like you would normally. Now that this is enabled, every 24 hours, the system will automatically go and rescrape and train on any new data or any changed data. So if you have a, support documentation, or if your company has a knowledge base that gets updated often, or if you have, basically anything, and we're going to be working on tutorials on how this could apply to things like e-commerce stores and live updating on inventory and like live updates on stores and availability on product and things like that. So this process is the exact same, and now this is that little animation. It's just going to show the little loading circles. That way people know that the bot is currently being trained. And that's pretty much it. Simple as that. Now we have auto scraping, and it defaults to every 24 hours. We figured that was kind of the nice happy medium between all the different options, and simplifying it out to just be that option. Very cool. Brian says, I'm new here. Is there an FAQ/process for multiple meta warming up, or do we rent from someone? How do others handle the multi-bots? Multiple warming up.
Yeah, do you know what I'm
Can
talking
you
about?
Could you
Yeah.
rephrase, please?
Yeah, it's like if I have a bot that goes to some Facebook groups, I mean, I'm not going to use my personal account. I'm going to use other accounts. So, or do I rent those from someone else, or do we have a process in a VPN or something? Like, I don't know how to set up another bot outside of my account, because I mean, technically, you can only have one Facebook account. So, how do we use multiple bots in type of lead generation? Is it just so it's not outgoing at all? It's just all incoming. Like you're going to post something with, I guess, your company in a group, and if you want someone to respond, that you understand what I'm trying to say. Maybe I'm just
Yeah,
missing
so
the whole.
I think your use case is a little bit outside of our core functionality.
Okay.
Most people are using it and embedding it on a website or behind an existing chat platform where users are actively asking
Oh, okay.
questions. So
Yeah.
it's more of like a customer facing thing or an internal thing. And
Okay.
agencies are selling that version of this to business.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's a great question. Thanks for that. That'll just kick off the FAQ question. So anybody can either pop the question in the chat, or you can raise your hand, or just start speaking, and I'll call on you. If anybody has any pressing questions, you can kick it off. Mitchell, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
The scraping thing, say a website has a blog, will that catch the new blog posts?
Yes.
What's the time frame for releasing the auto open on the chatbot?
We got an update from our dev on that this morning. We've basically defined the entire functionality of it, and he's just working on actually implementing it. So we're gonna basically make it very similar to the functionality that we have right now, which is the initial message pop-up. But now there will be an option that will pops up the entire window, and it will work in the same way where you set the amount of seconds that you want it to delay before it pops up.
Excellent. I
Toby?
think that's a big improvement.
Yes, and it's we're excited to release it too. So yeah, thank you for giving us that suggestion as well.
Well, it's just that I believe that a website owner wants the visitor to engage with the chatbot rather than the website. And so if the chatbot opens automatically, it's going to make it more conducive to that happening than hoping that they click on it on the bottom.
100% agree.
Totally. And Mitchell, what niche are you targeting?
Well, I'm just getting started, but I'm attempting going to be targeting law firms.
Nice. Toby, you have a question?
Right, yeah. So I had a very interesting conversation with one guy who's like into AI stuff as well. And when we upload stuff on like the Stammer platform, it basically gets like separated into chunks, right? Or I was just curious about, I mean, it's not that relevant, I guess, for everyone, but I'm just curious what technically happens. So when we were not fine-tuning GPT-4, right? Because you can't do that in the end. But we
No,
are
that wouldn't work, at least not well. Yeah, what happens is that all text, so it's all textual data in the end. It gets uploaded to our system, and then we create vector embeddings that are representations of the relationships between those words, the underlying contextual meaning. And those vector embeddings get stored into a vector database in memory, so it can be accessed very quickly. And that's where they reside, basically. So whenever your user queries, we come back very, very quickly and turn that user query into a vector embedding, and then we search the database.
If you don't know what a vector embedding is, nothing to worry about. It just basically
Right.
means it's a word on storage. We're storing the data.
I'm a software guy, so I do know what that means.
Okay,
so
good.
Thanks for clarifying.
Well, for everyone else watching on YouTube who's new, because I was when I was first learning all this stuff, like, a year ago, one of the things I found that was super helpful for me, and one of the things that I need to remember to do more often is just explain these kind of simple things quickly, so that way, even if, people are not familiar, everyone's on the same page. But this should be a very simple diagram of that process.
Okay, so the first thing is the agent is going through my knowledge base, let's say my vector database, basically. And that information then gets into like a text thing that goes to, okay, got it. Goes to OpenAI, and then OpenAI is making an answer out of that, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, got it. Cool.
Yeah. So all the data is uploaded to the knowledge base. When the AI agent searches through the knowledge base, it's searching through all of this, and then it compiles the base system prompt plus the top 3 results from the knowledge base, which are those chunks of text, plus the conversation history. And then all of that is given to OpenAI. OpenAI generates the response, and then that response is given back to the user.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Ross.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Well, and Ross, technically, remember we use the it's more advanced now. So the LLM itself decides when to call our knowledge base function. And the reason I mention that is because it is a key functionality.
Yeah. Yeah.
This way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Cool. Anybody else?
Yeah, Ross, I've got a quick question about the white label documentation. So the like the how-to that lives within the accounts that our clients have. Obviously, that is a version of your stuff, but has been overwritten, I guess, with our platform name, which is great. How do we edit that? Because there's some stuff that's a bit out of date in there now, and we need to, particularly in pricing. So if we update pricing, I'm not sure where it's pulling that information from. So we need to make sure that we've got the right. So for example, ours is quoting dollars and we're selling in pounds.
Would it be as simple as just like opening it up, editing it right there, clicking save?
Yeah. If that then saves and then that cascades through to the client accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me make a note of that.
And then sort of the line to that is, and you've touched on this before, is about having an internal chatbot that is something that people can refer to within their dashboard to ask questions, do how-tos. Is that a question of us just creating one and then finding a way to deploy it within the dashboard?
Yes, soon there will be a spot for you to put it, because we're putting ours in there very, very shortly, very, very soon. This also kind of touches on some of the tracking and analytics stuff as well, in terms of being able to add, like, for example, like your pixel code or your G tag code. These are kind of those deeper permissions, or permissions is the wrong word, but kind of all on those same lines.
I mean, anything we can do within the platform to help people learn it more is
exactly.
If we've got our own chatbot that does that, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Cool. Got that. Tad, you had one?
Yeah. I'm going to need to upload a lot of files. Is there a limit?
Yes. How like, are you talking millions and millions of files?
No. Probably in between 700 and 1,000.
Okay. Yes, there's a limit. No, it's not public yet, but no one has even come close to this limit. So my expectation is that you probably won't come close to the limit. If you do, you'll be notified in the dashboard, and we can contact you from that point. You shouldn't have a problem until you reach the threshold, which is basically 100 million characters.
No, I'm not going to be that close.
So exactly, yeah. Most people aren't reaching that. For context, for everyone else, that's like 1,000 website pages.
Is there a way to sort or to manipulate the files after you upload them? Because I'm going to be needing to update them daily.
So if you need to update file, well, there's a couple ways you could do that. You could manually do it just by deleting them and uploading a new one. We just released a video a couple days ago that is the Google Docs or Notion doc template, where as long as it's a published Google Doc or a published Notion doc, the scraper will be able to read that with the accompanying 24-hour scraper. You could update a Google Doc and then it's
Oh.
automatically updated over here.
So I could basically, instead of using my website pages, use Google Docs.
Or anything you want, basically, as long as it's a public link. And that's the key. So like when you
Yeah,
go to
right.
like the share, it can't be a private link. It has to be a published view by anybody link.
So that if I go into that, say that folder, and I delete a file, update a file, the scraper will update it every 24 hours.
Yes. Yeah. And then
That's
anything inside the file. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Or
Yeah.
will be, excuse me.
Yeah. We had one of our clients who's in the law niche. We were trying to figure out how is going to be an ultra simple system for them to have their like office employees be able to manage some of this data without having to necessarily log in or deal with files or upload or whatever. And so we kind of stumbled upon the fact that it actually just works with Google Docs kind of natively. And they're like, oh shoot, we should probably make a tutorial for that and put that out there.
But that's going to simplify my situation hugely. I didn't even realize. Thanks.
Yeah.
And out of curiosity, what are these files?
They're courses. They're course descriptions. We sell continuing education courses. So we have 600 courses and probably 100 support pages. So we continually add and update courses daily. So we would need to tell the bot that, hey, this course is now for 2024 as opposed to 2022. So if somebody's searching for it. So if we could put them all on a Google folder, make them public, and then I can have my VA go in and just update the course page.
Yep.
Can it fetch images, or do you have a plan to do that?
That's on its way.
Especially for courses like that, you might want to show the cover of it, call to action type thing.
That would be nice, but we don't have images for ours.
Well, and always keep in mind how the knowledge base works, right? It works based off of a semantic search, which means it matches based on the meaning of the word. So your data has to be in a format that supports that type of thing, right? Well-structured data, headings is very good, like almost like a textbook.
When you say structured data, do you mean like structured data like you would put on a website for Google, or is it another type of structure you're talking about?
Headings, summarizations, stuff like that.
That's what is very helpful for an AI to understand context, but the requirements are the fact that it's actually text. So for example, like if you try to upload a PDF that is you're not able to like copy and paste text, the AI or the scraper will see that as an image and not be able to detect the text inside that PDF.
It needs to be OCR. Yeah, okay.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but what about rich text where it's bold and like you would do in Word? It can read that fine.
Yep. And it can also read in and send out in Markdown. So it can render in the chat widget in Markdown as well, based off of how the information is input in the database in the first place.
So I just saw one person texted Markdown question marks. So Markdown is a format basically how to like make from standard text to rich text. It's what's used at GitHub initially. Like a dash before something makes like a heading and this and that, but it's quite.
What's the one that like Slack and Discord uses? That's like a different name, right? It's not Markdown. It's like something else formatting, I think, right?
I mean, or like a deviation of Markdown. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, James asks, how can you test the Stripe packages? There's the way that I like to do it is so you can create the Stripe packages inside your Stammer dashboard. And then when you go into Stripe, you can create a coupon for yourself. And I usually will make this like a 99% coupon so that I'm paying $1. And I do that just so I know that the actual transaction is going through.
Yeah, and system functions. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was mainly it. I was like, I'm not gonna. I mean, I could test one of my packages and it's just gonna, cycle back to my bank account with a fee. I'm like, that's kind of stupid, but okay. So I'll definitely do that.
I try to not pay Stripe if they don't deserve it.
Yeah, and I know I didn't put in the chat, but I think one of the more powerful things that you guys have on your platform, I've only been using it for about a couple weeks now, is your custom menu links. I think that's a fantastic addition because anyone can essentially start building, their own specialized dashboard for their niche. I'm wondering, I'm not sure if it was in the roadmap. Maybe I can fire it on there, but I'm not sure how easy it'd be for you guys to open it up that. You can create it as, right now it's just a link. It'll send you off to a link. But maybe that custom menu, when you click to it, is maybe an open area where you can fire some HTML in or something that, it's just an open area if you want to put some code in, because I feel like it'd be pretty sweet to include either further custom GPTs, because I've really dug in even for my niche in real estate. A lot of realtors deal with like listing description that are really mundane and boring. And it's like, hey, just go to the listing description builder, upload a document, and it'll just print it out for you. So I'm not sure if that would make sense to you guys. I can put it on the roadmap as well, but I feel like that might be an easy change in the platform. Again, I'm not sure how easy it would be, but to open it up for not just a URL, but also some form of CSS or HTML to essentially start building your own custom dashboard fully.
When you're getting the embeds from these other tools, is it an iframe embed or is it just a link?
It could be either. I've been just using it as a link. Like I found a platform where you can essentially build your own like custom GPT studio, which is pretty funky. And then so I have that as a link for people that want to go into, so it's part of a package add-on. I don't know, that's another thing I was going to ask, that if the custom menu links, specific ones can be offered to specific packages. So you can imagine the dashboard would start to fill with more and more value add stuff the higher the packages you purchase.
Hmm.
And that might be a quick easy change as well, right? It might be, just select which packages get which menu links. I know the development's a lot harder than it always sounds. I used to be a consultant for a while, so that was pretty painful. But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, because I thought that'd be definitely a huge value add to essentially make any part of the dashboard fully customizable and integrated.
Definitely. We did some R&D initially on this for embedding them with an iframe, and we initially, I think, paused just due to some light security concerns of people being able to inject code. But we'll be able to, because GHL does this. So, I mean, this is the kind of the template that we've used for a lot of things.
Yeah.
So we'll I just put it back on the list. We'll look it up, and then I also added being able to add the menu links to the SaaS plans, because that would.
Yeah, I think it'd be a pretty funky add-on. It's like, hey, here's a couple extra things you get if you buy the largest package, just more value add to the system. I thought I mentioned that's like a quick, easy one to do, but again, I know it's a lot more difficult than it always sounds. So yeah.
Cool. And is the main one that you're adding in there right now, is that other GPT builder? Is there like, are you adding in like an email thing?
Well, I'm going to be putting in my help desk. So like just a ticketing software. I'll probably be using the same one that you guys use for your own support system. Fairly easy, fairly simple to do. But yeah, it's just kind of, I was thinking about maybe like they get an extra chat bot in their account that could do this kind of stuff. And I was like, hey, well, we need some way to upload these files for these custom GPTs. So there's like a company you can look up. It's called pickaxe.studio. And it's like $20 a month, and you can make your own like custom GPT store. So you can make like 5 different custom GPTs. Then if anyone has the emails that you allow to access it, so someone that's part of your agency, they can log in, and it won't be free to the public. It'll be free to them, and they can hop in and use any of those GPTs, which is pretty funky. But yeah, that's digging through Twitter. You can pretty much find anything.
Yeah, the depths. Love it. That's cool. We have a couple things on our roadmap to do something similar, as we've mentioned before. The future that we're kind of all building towards is this future of an AI agent with custom functions that can do anything and talk to anybody and do all these things. And as we iteratively grow the platform and the overall market of people learning how all this stuff works together, I think we'll start to come to some realizations about how this stuff will actually make sense when we start to build it out in reality.
And I'm not sure, I know you mentioned at the start of the call, but yeah, the one-click integration for any of the Meta platform, I know that they probably have some lengthy approval process that you guys are going through, which is probably a little annoying, but that'll be a huge value add. I think that'll be, especially for my niche, like real estate agents, anyone in real estate they just get flooded with messages from anywhere. And if you just automate every single one, or you automate every single one for every single agent under your brokerage, or you could just kind of scale the whole system, it'd be super valuable, because I did real estate media as my first business, and real estate agents get a bad rep. They are dealing with crap coming from every direction, and to have like one thing save them a little bit of time is really huge. And I think those connections will be really big.
Fantastic. Yeah, we're crossing our fingers that Meta just approves it. It's crazy, but it's great. By the time we've been waiting for them to approve one, we've almost finished WhatsApp and Instagram also. So like, come on, Meta. I mean, it's funny. The team internally has just been like, how does Facebook even operate now? Anyway.
Well, and they've encountered a lot of errors, a lot of just crazy errors on that platform.
Brian says, I'm able to do that now with Facebook. They message my Facebook page and the bot picks it up. Are you using a Zapier or some connector? Oh, you're muted.
I had my developer do it. I'm not sure how he did it.
Oh.
So I can get that information, but it's using your platform and it will pick up, and then you can take over the conversation and it will stop.
Oh, interesting.
Nice.
Will
You
that be
can.
part of
If
the
do you guys want to
integration?
see? Do you guys
Mhm.
want to see an example? I can. Are we allowed
Sure.
to do that? Okay.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Okay. All right. Let me see.
So Brian, does it even provide like a notification saying like, hey, the user wants you to take over the chat? That'd be pretty funky. Just
Yeah,
saying
I don't know if it does that, but it's you get an email.
that a chat's going on or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. So you guys, if you start a chat now with that, it'll start working. It'll take over, and also, yeah, I like the feature where you can take the conversations and add it to the knowledge base. Maybe that should be automatic or something, or some way you can approve it instead of exporting and then having to re-import it.
Yeah. Sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah, you know how you have a conversation, what you can review the bot's conversation with
Yes.
someone. Yeah. So I think a lot of that, like what I do is I export it and I re-import it to the knowledge base. I didn't know if there's an automated way to do that, or if it doesn't, maybe it doesn't make sense. I don't know.
It's not automated yet, but that's one of the things that another thing that we're working
Yeah.
on. So
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. This
Just
is
inundating you with more ideas. You already got
yeah.
enough.
I know. I got tons of ideas. I
Well,
think
it's more reaffirming ideas
Yeah.
that we've had, and then you guys expressing that
Yeah.
just as like, oh yeah, another
Yeah.
ticker on that idea means we need to just continue
Yeah.
to move it up the.
I also created a bot for customers that they could talk to the bot and it'll tell them relevant groups, Facebook groups to their niche. So they could, like I was saying, they could do active posts, and then the incoming from those posts would be handled by the bot on Facebook or LinkedIn.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
let's.
LinkedIn would be huge too.
We'll
to
definitely have to connect. It sounds like you got some cool stuff.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, certainly. Yeah, definitely.
The other one I'll mention real quick. So this will be a tutorial that I'm going to be doing shortly. I showed this to Justin last night. He loved it. So this will be like the quote unquote non-developer way to be able to do something similar to what we're just talking about. And for this example, I just made it with Slack and made it in this case to where it only responds when the actual bot is tagged itself. This can be done in the same
Oh,
way
yeah.
where you could tag it where, oh, if the user sends another message and it tags with start or stop or subscribe, unsubscribe, like any keyword or basically anything, that will be able to delineate when there's the quote unquote handoff. So
Yeah.
I'll have a whole thing detailing this, and we'll be making ones for Slack, Discord, and kind of all the places. Any other questions?
Not really. I mean, Slack integration would be good too. If you have customers in Slack and they could talk to your bot.
Yep.
But I'm sure you have that. But yeah, I love the tool. It's great.
Appreciate it. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining. We'll have the recording of this up shortly on YouTube if you want to rewatch or if you missed it. And then we'll have more updates coming soon in the Discord. Let us know if you have any questions. Talk to you guys next week.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys.